For my hashtag project, I chose hashtag PickleRick. I was honestly having a hard time of thinking of a unique hashtag, and what's more unique than Rick and Morty? After Rick and Morty first aired, it gained a cult following. I personally watch the show, but don't get into it as much as the superfans do. My goal is to find what this cult-like audience is like with their online presence. The single episode in which Pickle Rick is present is this new season that just aired. Episode 3 dedicates itself to Morty's grandfather turning himself into a pickle. The other episodes have never featured Pickle Rick. The fact of how little he is present shocks me with how big he has gotten. Everywhere you look, you see Pickle Rick associated with Rick and Morty. Instagram is overflowing with memes, tattoos, and gear associated with Pickle Rick. I decided to take a look into Etsy to see what kind of merch was available. After seeing so much on Instagram, I realized they literally do make anything and everything Pickle Rick, from baby clothes to keychains and anything in between. Now moving over to Twitter, the Pickle Rick trend keeps moving strong. Tweets using hashtag Pickle Rick are getting lots of likes and retweets. The most common being memes and GIFs. As you see on the bottom right of the screen, this GIF is used a lot across Twitter. Lastly, Facebook. Hashtag Pickle Rick is not as rampant on Facebook as other sites, but it's still very present. The common trend seems to be art, especially fan art and tattoos. Now, this looks like a pretty accurate to what I was thinking it was going to look like. The Wordle is pretty interesting, but if you take a look at the next slide about hashtagify me, this is where it gets pretty shocking. Looking at the bubbles here, I feel pretty confident with fan art and Adult Swim, considering that's the channel it's on. But Game of Thrones and Trump are really throwing me off. The only correlation I can see Rick and Morty and Game of Thrones having is the cult following. I actually think the type of following Game of Thrones gets is a lot like Rick and Morty. The people get into the world of the show and associate themselves with the characters in the same ways as Game of Thrones. The line connecting to Trump, to me, just seems like a stretch. Everything nowadays has to be related to the president, and it disappoints me that this show is too. A show like Rick and Morty is so bizarre and should have no connection to politics at all. Now, the top 6 influencers are all what I pretty much expected, besides the WWE, which I had to do a little digging into to see the correlation. So, it turns out that Sheamus, a professional WWE wrestler, wore a jacket with a Pickle Rick patch. The fact that about 4 million people saw this sparked up another noteworthy hashtag trend for Pickle Rick. It's funny how quickly things can spark up over a patch. Now, finally, some final thoughts. Rick and Morty, and especially Pickle Rick, are some things that people don't know much about. The cult following behind this show and character gave them the ability to become a mainstream GIF, meme, tattoo, what have you. Being a fan of the show, seeing something that isn't actually real being turned into such a tangible thing makes me happy. Something to think about the next time you share a picture of a pickle. Try drawing a face on it and using the hashtag PickleRick. I can guarantee you'll get some buzz out of it.